All right, guys, so we're wrapping up our arm series. This whole month has been all things arms, biceps, triceps, forearms, and now we're just gonna kind of talk about how we would program this into a workout, how you might program it, either for your athletes, for yourself. So I know Chris and I were talking about, he trains athletes a lot, so we were talking about like how important is some stuff. I train more like general population people, so we were talking a little bit before, but just for the people, what do you think?
Yeah, so this month is arm month, so we're talking about, building up strong arms and forearms. In my population, and really specifically how I train in particular, what I really focus on the larger muscle groups, and then kind of unfortunately, the smaller ones like the arms and the forearms, I don't really address as much. Yeah. So really how I program my workouts is I'll start with heavy back movements or heavy chest movements. I'll probably maybe do 3 or 4 exercises. So say let's take a back, we're doing different types of pulls, single arm rows, pull-ups, maybe some deadlifts, and then at the end, if I still have a little bit of energy in the tank, that's when I'm kind of hitting the cables, or I'm doing something to really, really, really exhaust those triceps or biceps, how it goes. A lot of, especially in athletics, normally we have an hour to train.
That's what I was going to bring up. Is it more for time or for energy, right?
Time, energy, everything. We want to be as efficient as possible. And really what translates to sports is those big muscle groups. But what's funny is I do like to train, and I like to, you do want to look strong and you want to look the part. And what's funny, we're talking about even intimidation factor, right? Yeah. If a bunch of kids walk out and they have these huge biceps on the football team, the other team might just go run off on the bus and cry and go home, and they might just be done with it.
Yeah.
But that's really kind of how I feel about, programming. But I also think it's really, really important to build the biceps for novice lifters, as we talked about before, how you want to keep somebody motivated. What motivates? Results motivate people. So many people go to the gym, I don't see results, I stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
You go home, you want to feel like what you're doing is important and you're building that muscle, and you could see it in the mirror. Sometimes when you see yourself in the mirror, like, wow, I got after it. I achieved this. And I don't know about you, but that, to me, that's the fitness bug.
Yeah.
The bug. The thing that keeps you going is those results and seeing that. So if that starts with the arms, starts at the arms.
Right, yeah. Yeah, especially obviously, for most males, I would say, like, they want to build biceps, triceps, and I think there's something about feeling sore too, or like feeling the pump, right? So like you can do 2 or 3 sets of bicep curls and like actually feel that you did it, versus, for me at least, if you're doing maybe a couple sets of push-ups, your tricep honestly probably fatigues before your chest does. So at least for me, so I think, like you said, it's all about getting the person to keep coming back. So yeah.
And of course, when you're isolating a muscle and you're thinking about the biceps and triceps and forearms, I also think that frequency and volume come into play as well.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that, I don't know how you train. I would say if I was really trying to build my arms, I would program it in maybe 2 or 3 times a week with heavy volume, heavy reps, maybe lighter weight, but maybe 15 reps, 4 sets.
Right.
Really just trying to blast that one spot. And also you want to make sure when you're doing something like that, you're also getting enough protein. I don't know what your eating schedule or how you work for that, but when I'm trying to train people, when somebody's trying to put on mass, for protein, a lot of people ask me, do I do a protein shake before? Do I do a protein shake after? And what I say is, I think you should do a little bit of both. I say, why do just one and the other when you could preload your body with a little bit of protein, blast that muscle, you're getting the recovery earlier, you're getting protein to the muscle right away, breaking up those muscle fibers, and you're gonna bulk up faster.
For sure, yeah. And I know we were talking about it earlier, but programming, at least for me, is a big mistake that I see with people that are trying to build their bicep is they just wait till the end to do it every time. And like you were saying, it's more for time, for sake for your athletes. But if you're actually trying to build your bicep, which you're training people more for performance or whatever, like we talked about, but if you're actually trying to build your bicep, maybe not every time, but I'd say do it first every once in a while, right? So for me, I train like a push-pull leg split. So each muscle group gets hit twice, but on my second pull day, I'll do biceps first. Not exhausting, because they obviously still need your back muscles to work, or your bicep muscle to assist your back. But for me, it's just more of like a pre-exhaustion to try to get them while they're fresh. You're gonna be able to lift a little bit heavier. You're gonna be able to put more volume into it, which is really what it comes down to build muscle, is all about volume.
Oh yeah, volume. And when you do something like that too, you're also confusing the muscle. doing something a little different always kind of tweaks which muscle fibers you're hitting or which ones you're targeting. So yeah, confusion and really the body's natural way of adapting to that stress that you're putting on it. The different types of stress, not just, like I said, what you're doing, but when you're doing it is super, super important as well.
Yeah, and for me, that brings up a good point. So like your bicep obviously is assisting in a row or a pull-up, but if you hit it first and it's fatigued, the other muscle has to work, right? So you're often gonna feel, at least for me, a little bit more lat activation. You're gonna feel that muscle that you're actually trying to work more because your bicep's tired, right? So it can't help as much. It can't help you cheat if that's what you're going to do on something like a row or even a pull-up. If two linemen are both 5-star recruits, blah, 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 and they both have a 405 bench, but one hits a little triceps, it might put him over the edge, right? Like, so
True.
If you're thinking about the elite athletes, where are we finding that little edge? Because it's important for them. It might not be for the 5-star versus the 3-star or the 0-star, but if they're both there, like there's somewhere that's gonna maybe put that guy over the edge. I don't know, you can probably speak to that more.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, if you just get everybody, like volume, I think everything comes down to volume, repetition, and consistency.
Yeah.
So if you're pushing more volume, more consistently, you're getting that one extra rep is the difference between you and the other person up. So I definitely agree. If you could find that extra little time, say if you are an athlete, right, and you're working with your strength coach and you have that hour and you're working on all those power movements, I don't think it's a terrible thing, say, to stay an extra 10, 15 minutes and really kind of fatigue the rest of that, really get that full body physique strength that you want to perform.
Yeah,
for sure.
because even athletes want to look good, right? Like obviously they want to perform, but they want their bicep to fill out their sleeves too.
It's for the drip. It's for the drip, as the kids say.
Yeah. The way I would train something is in like a mesocycle, right? So I wouldn't just always focus on growing arms, but like for the next 8 weeks, maybe I do focus on growing arms. And then I go back and I focus on going back to what's actually important and getting your back stronger, right? So I know we joked, like, should you do arms every day? Definitely not, right? They need time to recover.
Whoa, that's news to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
But this is something that you could potentially focus on, like, okay, for this month, like we're doing, you're gonna focus on trying to grow your arms, biceps, triceps, forearms. And then not only are you gonna grow your arms, you're gonna reap those benefits when you go back to the big muscle groups, right? Like your bench is probably gonna go up a little bit because your triceps got stronger. Your deadlift might go up a little bit because your forearms got stronger. So like, it's something that's gonna go hand in hand, right? Like not something that you're potentially always focusing on, but something that you could see for like a short mesocycle or whatever.
Yeah. And of course, I think another thing too, when you're building your arms and trying to get a more defined arms, we really haven't touched on too much about just body weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Body fat composition.
Yeah.
You know, you can make your arms look a lot bigger if you lose a little bit of weight. I'm talking to myself, you know what I mean? I kind of cheat. I'm not a super lean type person, but if I was the type of person where I was like, listen, I'm trying to look bigger and look a little bit more vascular, I would have to cut back on a diet, eat a little bit cleaner, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't like to do that because eating is probably the most difficult part.
Yeah.
Getting to the gym is easy.
Yeah, once you build the habit, for sure.
Yeah, what's the saying? Muscles are built in the kitchen, not in the actual weight room, and I think that sticks true too.
Right, yeah. Yeah, similar to abs, right? Like, how do you get abs? You have abs, they're there, or else your spine wouldn't be erect. But like, the only way to show your abs is to get the fat off the top. So similar to arms, showing that little tricep indent, getting vascularity, it's all about losing body fat. So it all comes down to nutrition at the end of the day.
I really think most programming comes down to your goals. If you're trying to look shredded and you're trying to get that physique that you're looking for, it's gonna come down to what you're eating throughout the day. You know what I mean? You can't be cheating. You can't be making all these crazy choices with snacks and candy. You're just not gonna get those results that you want. Now, if you really just want to physically just build a little bit more muscle, volume, repetition, and consistency is the key, is the absolute key. The more weight you can move more times, the more results you're gonna see over time.
All right, Critical Bench, that was all things arms. I hope you learned something. Biceps, triceps, forearms, make sure you're hitting them this month and beyond. I'm Coach Brady, joined by Coach Chris. Thanks for watching.